All right, time now is 11:04 a.m. On May 16th. Holy shit. I slept from around um fuck. I slept from around 3 a.m. to 10:15 and I woke up naturally. I woke up before the alarm even rang. Um And yeah, I guess I have a couple things to say, a couple revelations. First of all, I cannot tell Leslie. I cannot confess to her this Thursday. I just cannot because I have a Death Grips concert on Sunday, and if I confess her on Thursday, I'm basically gonna spoil all the fun. So I will do it next Monday or Tuesday. You know what? If I have to go to CMD in person to tell Leslie, I'll do it. On Monday, I'll take a bus over there in person. So that's that. Um, so yeah, at least I got a little more time left. Um, I'm about a week away from confessing to her instead of 2 days, so that's less daunting. But still, that doesn't mean much. Of course, I want to have hot pot dinner with her, listen to music with her. Again, I'm basically committing suicide. My romantic suicide. Not career suicide, but like my romantic life is just gonna end there and then next Monday. So that's that. But I sort of have to do it. I am embracing death. Anyways, Thomas freaked out. Not freaked out, but Thomas was like, call Birkin ASAP. And then Birkin texted me, call me ASAP. And both of them called me. I just woke up, brother. So I just called Birkin, and Birkin said, breaking news. Apparently, because we're filming in Encino in a residential area at night over the weekend, we actually need signatures of every single house around that house. Of every single every single house around that house, essentially. So that's fucking horrifying, and we're like a week away from filming. This is terrible. So fuck. And then Birkin told Professor Cuccio and Antonio, and both of them are not happy. And Birkin is going to UC Berkeley today, and won't be back until Wednesday night. Benny's not free. Thomas has stupid Sunday church, whatever. So it's all up to me now. So I kind of have to skip class tomorrow and go. I don't want to go today because that's not in my plan at all. I want to visit Photo 2, in fact. So that's that. So tomorrow morning I'll go there. I'll come back and I'll join up with the Film 32 bros. But yeah, essentially that's that. So today, I'm going to Photo 2. I didn't finish watching Infernal Affairs 2 last night. I'm too sleepy. I also didn't finish editing the Hong Kong Adventure video. Fuck. I ran out of time again. Again and again and again. So I'll try to do that. And then, I'm jealous. I'll try to clear storage space for my phone. This is really getting out of hand. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, this will be very interesting. It's just insane to me that all of this, like from today till next Monday, so much will fucking happen, including the hellfire that is Thursday, my last few interactions with Leslie, the Death Grips concert on Sunday, the film festival on Saturday, and then next Monday, it's going to be the day I die, basically. So so turbulent, so much turmoil. And people are arguing on a Signal group right now. Theo just sent an email to the entire class complaining about night shoots. Theo's true colors are finally showing, and Cuccio will massacre him for it. So there's that. Oh, I gotta call Film LA right now before I even eat breakfast, so head. Alright, let's make some macaroni. This is chicken broth, penne pasta, and some carrots and peas. How do I open this? go. Should be enough. Okay. Let's add a little bit of salt. And then we shall add the carrots and the peas. Alright. A lot of the chicken soup is dried up already, so I added a little bit water, but here we go. Let's try this. I should have added the carrots and peas way later, and I should have boiled the pasta first beforehand, not with the chicken soup. Could be better. Alright, time now is 9:24 p.m. So I don't have that much to talk about because I have so much to do. But yeah, I just came. I went to photo. I just came. I went to photo to missed the first bus, went to the second bus, and I was late for like 45 minutes. I honestly don't care. Yeah, and today we basically did the same thing. We filmed with the Hasselblad camera. And I thought Ken would show up, and it would be really interesting because he's like from the CMD Madness, but he didn't show up today at all for some reason. But yeah, I don't have any film left, so Potter gave me his roll of film, and I took 12 photos. It was all right, and then I developed it, and finally the film didn't come out purple and transparent. It came out actually fine. It was fine. You know. Also, Pepper saw my eyebrow slit, and she is the first person to ever notice my eyebrow slit. But yeah, essentially there's that. There's more to talk about actually about today. So again, in the morning, one of the reasons why I was late, if not the biggest reason why I was late to class today for like 45 minutes, is because right off the bat, Birkin called me, and then I spent about an hour. I haven't even had breakfast. I spent about an hour basically calling Film LA. I called them. They didn't pick up. I waited like 10 minutes and they said they couldn't pick up. I called them again. 3 minutes, somebody picked up. And I basically asked them a bunch of questions about, you know, filming overnight, filming outside of standard hours, you know, addresses, whatever. And so apparently we need to do a community survey, which is absolutely fucking insane. We should have known this way earlier because we're filming really late and we're filming outside of standard hours, which is 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. on weekdays and 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. on weekends. And if we're filming outside of it, we need to do a community survey. We need to knock on the doors of all the residents around the filming location at a 300 feet radius and make sure they all sign their names. And if one of them don't sign, well, then we're fucked. So yeah, essentially there's that. I called Film LA, and then Birkin was so like on edge. Birkin's like, call them now, try again. They're not picking up, try again. And then I called the Torrance people as well because I saw that one of the two locations that I requested, Skylar's house and Madrona Marsh, they canceled. They withdrew my permit request for Madrona Marsh for some reason, which is kind of sus. So I just called them, and I was like in the middle of eating my macaroni, and they immediately picked up. Like I imagine the Torrance people aren't as popular as the Film LA people. But yeah, I eventually got the student letter from Drew. Drew wrote the student letter for me, and I immediately sent it to Film LA and Torrance, and so there's that. Anyways, all at the same time, Leslie again, like I feel like this is peak closeness with Leslie. Like, of course, when we sat side by side, just the two of us on the second floor of CMD and translated the script, I think that is the peak of intimacy between us. Like that's the closest we're ever gonna go. That's the just admit it. That's the closest we're ever gonna go. And also me saying, "Oh, energy drink. I actually never had that before." And then Leslie like gave the can to me, thinking that I would drink it, but I'm a timid man. I don't drink her saliva, but yeah. We Leslie texted me earlier today, or I think it was me who texted her first, essentially just about Thea whining. Because if I can share the same amount of drama to Michelle, I can say the same to Leslie. And Leslie didn't respond with a deadpan face this time. Leslie laughed. She said, "Ha ha ha." She said, "Bruh." So there's that. And then a little bit later, a couple hours later, Leslie said, "LMAO, I saw Professor Antonio on a scooter. Poor fellow, poor professor." So it's so fucking good that Leslie's telling me all these small things. Like we're really building uh, a connection here. I feel like this is past Pepper. Like I think I and Pepper got really close. Like every time we see each other, we talk, and it's really nice and stuff. But Pepper still wouldn't like randomly send me shit like this, like small talk. I feel like my relationship with Leslie is almost as close as my relationship with Michelle. So that's really good. And I just can't imagine like the day, like next Monday or Tuesday when I confess to her. Is she gonna really ruin it all because we have built so much? Like if I confessed like 2 months earlier, I probably would actually like lose it all. But now I feel like it's good that I'm patient. It's really good. So there's that. Anyways, flash forward to photo 2. Um, and yeah, everyone's there. Alba's there. Professor Antonio is not there, but most of the people are there. I developed the film. It came out right. I printed a couple photos. That's it. I went back. Um, but the teacher assistant Nagisa speak to Potter a lot because Potter always goes up to her and asks her Japanese things. Like even I don't do that. Like I'm a huge weeb, and I don't freak out every time I see a Japanese person like, oh my god, anime moment. But Potter does that a little bit, and not really like anime moment, just more like, oh, Japanese culture. Like Potter tried to read One OK Rock lyrics out loud in front of Nagisa, and then Pepper also followed along. And I'm just there thinking like, my Japanese skills, not trying to sound cocky, but my Japanese skills are probably better than both of them. So there's that. But later I did talk with Nagisa a little bit later during the processing of the film. Potter and Nagisa talked about like Cantonese and Mandarin because everyone outside of Hong Kong and China don't really know the difference. And then I joined in saying "안녕하세요, 나는 이녹시" or some shit like that, and Nagisa was like, "Oh, what language are you speaking now?" So that's so funny. But yeah, and then I was wearing an Alba Chico t-shirt, so I told like Nagisa that, and then she talked about One OK Rock, and I said I listened to them a little bit, but and then like I went to Spotify, and she actually came to look at my phone to look at my Spotify, and it has a bunch of anime songs in it, and also like Vocaloid. And I said, "Oh, there are a bunch of anime songs here. Like, don't worry about it." And Nagisa said, "Oh, don't worry. I listen to a lot of anime music too. I'm a nerd too." So that's that. Um, Anyways, I also saw Diego and asked him to PA because Simon is sus. Now, yeah, afterwards, I and Potter walked away. So Alba left first, and then Pepper stayed behind, and I and Potter had to attend a little talk thing for his political science one class for extra credit, which takes place in the student service center. And so at some point at around at around 6:45, I and Potter left, and with within about 15 minutes, I basically told Potter that my life in the last few weeks have been crazy. I have a crush on a girl. There's a lot of drama. I want to confess to her, but it's basically it's basically suicide. I want to give up everything. This is my final chance. This I'm going to deliver my final blow. And I feel like Potter in a degree is kind of overwhelmed, like, oh my god, so much is happening, but okay, you know. But yeah, it's pretty clear, it's pretty obvious that I'm clearly zoinked out of my mind at this point. Yeah, it's pretty clear that I'm really like doing it. Another thing is I wanted to be on set as much as possible this Thursday, but Birkin at some point told me that we won't even have a drill this Thursday. The drill that we did was the last drill. Which is kind of sad because I want to be there at least once just to observe, and also just so that, you know, I and Leslie could talk and people would be like, oh, these two actually are really close. Because I and Jonathan actually DM'd each other a lot on the bus on the way to photo 2. And we complain about Theo. I don't like Theo, neither does Jonathan. um, and Jonathan said if we fire Theo, he will promote Tyler as cam op and have Leslie be first AC. Which and Jonathan even like told me like Leslie is Drew's assistant, blah blah blah. You know, she's been helping out, as if I don't know who she is. Brother, I and Leslie are way closer than any of you think, which is great, and I would like to pretend that we're actually like really really close. But the truth is like I'll be ruining it all next Monday, anyways. So yeah, there's that. But hopefully, I get to have enjoyable, pleasurable final times with Leslie this week. So there's that, including tomorrow. Hopefully, I see her tomorrow and speak to her and be happy together, like her favorite film. Yeah. So that's that. Um, yeah, and then I spoke with Benny a little bit about, you know, what's going on. I emailed back and forth with the Torrance people, really hammering it down with the locations, but we got all the locations. We got the alleyway, which is the final piece of the puzzle. I got every location down. I just need to have all the permits processed. I submitted the student letter to both Film LA and Torrance, and then after that, I will handle the PAs a little bit, handle the transportation a little bit, and then I'm done. I'm out of here. I'm fucking out of here. I'm done. So there's that. Apparently Orson is quitting, not because he's mad or anything, but apparently he's not free the whole time. But yeah, absolutely freaking insanity. I came back home, cooked myself steak, potatoes. I'm eating potatoes again. I really don't want to eat potatoes, but fuck it. As well as the salad box that I got from Ralph's, and I am in the mood to do shit. I need to finish my short film. I'm gonna watch 3 episodes of Beef. I'm gonna do some college homework. I'm gonna do this, do that, do this, do that, do this, do that. Boom, 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 boom. I'm gonna do everything, and I'm sad and I'm emotionally disturbed, but in a way, I'm compelled and motivated to do shit now. So that's that. And hopefully, Leslie does not completely crush me and destroy me. Also, Benny told me that he received a few more complaints about Simon. Um, so, yeah. I guess I'll have to banish him. I'll observe him this Friday. That's what I'm going to do. All right, time now is 10:58 a.m. on May 17th. Oh wow. More acne. I'm liking it. I'm loving it. So yeah, again, we are 5 days away from confession and 7 days away from filming. Or actually 8 days away. So yeah, I ended up watching 1.5 episodes of Beef. I would say last night was somewhat productive. I actually spent 3 hours last night editing the sound of my short film as well as the subtitles, so that was pretty cool. And I ended up going to bed very late at like 3:30, but that's okay. Today I will be doing just as much, but it's gonna be a wee bit of an eventful day as well. Um, yeah, because at 12, so I'm skipping my photo one class again, by the way. At 12, there is a Zoom meeting about Warner Brothers internships that I would love to join and help out. And then right after that, I would like to go to Film 32 to finalize the PAs. Um, so that's that. And I'll be seeing Leslie. And also this morning, Leslie texted me. Again, it's always a sweet, sweet morning when you turn on your phone and the girl you like texts you. Like, it's just, oh man, what a great feeling. What a fantastic feeling. But yeah, again, given that we only have 8 days left before the shoot, it's gonna be absolutely insane and intense. Apparently Betsy's not very happy that I talk to Michelle more than I talk to Betsy, like 100 times more. Again, Betsy and her huge ego, and she also complained that Thomas and Red don't tell her shit. So that's that. Betsy complained to Michelle. Michelle told me. But anyways, I digress. Yeah, I have a lot of stuff to do. I need to finalize with the locations. Hopefully Film LA assigns us a coordinator ASAP. I'm going to work on the transportation stuff as well. And then finally, the PA survey, I need to do it by today because it's like too late, basically. And then, that's pretty much it. Oh my god. Leslie's texting me. Okay. But yeah, and then Thomas also wants to meet me and Miles for the podcast thing. I mean, I'm not really a big fan of doing that, but sure, if he wants to bring me there, bring me after Film 32, I guess that would make a little sense. But yeah, otherwise, it is what it is. Yeah, I had a pretty complicated dream. I went to this big vacation home for vacation, and I couldn't sleep. I just packed, and suddenly it's the next day already. And then I dreamed about seeing Leslie, but I forgot what she did. I just remember I saw her. Yeah. That's pretty much it for today. I have no idea what to eat for breakfast. Cereal, perhaps? Yeah.
It's also one thing that I can't really stand because ultimately all this stuff.
This one.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Bye. And we're back. Okay, let's get this. Okay, that's good enough. Let's do this. All right. Okay, this is a mess, but ooh, okay. All right, time now is 9:32 p.m. I just finished dinner, which is actually pretty interesting. It's the taco beef that I got from Ralph's, a marinated seasoned taco beef with a tortilla, with avocado, with mayonnaise, and then some salad, and that's it. I'll definitely eat more stuff after this for sure. But let's talk about today. Another really interesting day. Again, every single day. Okay, we are how many days away from the confession, and how many days from the shoot? 8 days from the shoot, 6 days from the confession. More like 7 and 5, honestly. So, this morning I actually did quite a bit. What did I do? Frick. I filmed a review, and then after that I spent ample amounts of time putting everyone's in my Film 33 all the students' addresses down in a giant Google map, and I also sent a couple emails to Drew and Professor Antonio about transportation logistics. Turns out our college is sort of sponsored with Lyft, so we don't even have to worry about transportation because Lyft will be taking us there. So that's pretty funny. But anyways, the thing is, in the middle, almost nearing the end of my review, suddenly there's a knock on the door, and as it turns out, it is the UPS, and I usually don't care because usually I don't order anything. Jacob, the Chinese roommate, opened the door. Turns out the UPS guy called my name, so I immediately stopped the video, ran outside, and here it is, the package, right there, and it's the Sigma lens. So I'm gonna film myself unpacking that, making sure it's not super used, torn, and damaged. I paid a good sum of money for that. Hopefully it's good. But essentially there's that. Okay. Anyways, I suddenly had a stomachache. I went to the bathroom. After that, I left. And at around 3:30, I arrived at CMD to visit Wednesday Film 32 for one final time. And of course to see Leslie. So that's what I did. Also, last night, so of course Theo, the egotistic Italian prick, emailed the whole class complaining about night shoots. Professor Cuccio fought back with a gigantic email saying that, hey, if you don't want to show up at night, then don't. You know? We don't want people like you anyways. Of course, he didn't say that. He typed the email in a very polite way. And then Theo fired back, and it's this morning, and it's very cringe, and everyone hates him now. Like Zach hates him now, Birkin hates him now, Cuccio hates him now. It's pretty much done for him. But anyways, I arrived at CMD, and I saw Harrison, Ethan, one of the Ethans, and Ebony. And then I went to the soundstage, and I saw nobody, and I was like, whoa, did I come too late? Is Wednesday Film 32 already over? I ran back, and I saw Harrison and Ethan, and I asked them, where's Wednesday class? And they said they're up there in the car park on the 4th floor. So I'm like, what? And then also when I came in, I saw Drew and Professor Cuccio walking towards the stairs. So it turns out they're going up. So I ran up there, and there we are, the class, but outside of the soundstage. I think this is the first time in my college's history, in CMD's history specifically, where a Film 32 class gets to film a scene outside of the soundstage, which is absolutely insane. And it's fun, it's really refreshing, and Leslie, before I even went up there on the 2nd floor, I could already hear Leslie yelling, all quiet on set, lens, quiet, stuff like that. She's doing first AD, yeah, I went up and I saw her, and I also saw some other person, and I wasn't blocking the shot, but I guess they were filming a car at the car park right beside the window And I guess they could see my reflection or something. Leslie said, "Clear the frame!" I heard it and I immediately walked towards the video village, which is at the very side. And because Leslie wants to poke fun at me a little bit, so she straight up walked up to me and said, "Clear the frame." And I wasn't mad or anything. Like normally if a random person does that to me, I would be mad. I know it's Leslie and I know Leslie just wants to have some fun. And I was a little like I was a little like, you know, put off by that. I was like, whoa, okay. But it was all in good fun. A little bit later, Leslie would walk up to me, vape in front of me, and tell me, "Oh, I'm drinking again last night." And I'm like, "Bro, you drink every night." And she's like, "No, I didn't drink last night." And I'm like, "Okay." And then other people would hear us and they would be like, "Oh, you know, these two are close." Hopefully that's what these two are thinking. But Leslie's also like that to everyone else. Like Zach saw Leslie. Okay, so that's a little bit later, but I just observed them filming. I saw Ariel. Apparently, Kuchio asked Ariel to be the point person of the class, not Leslie. So Ariel became Kuchio's favorite, and Ariel had a piece of paper with people's names on it and their phone numbers and what department they're interested in. And Ariel gave that paper to me, and now it's her. It's not on me anymore, but Ariel gave that to me. And was like, "Hey, here's a list of names." I already have a list on my phone, but it's helpful. So there's that. So I spoke with Ariel. I spoke with Sean a little bit, the Korean American guy, and I spoke with several people, and they all welcomed me pretty well. Ken was there, and Ken was DP today, so that's pretty interesting. But yeah, I just watched them, and because after the phone call with Leslie this Monday, I became so much more serious on set. Like, oh, I need to be serious now, you know. But I also chat around and stuff. But yeah, at some point, they needed to put down dolly tracks, and I realized I've never really touched a dolly track before and did anything with that. So at some point, Leslie's just being a boss. Leslie's like, "Okay, we need two two straight tracks and one curved track." But later we had two curved tracks. And when she said, "Oh, we need one more curved track," so I picked it up. And people started leaving. At that point, it was like 5 p.m. and people started leaving because it's beyond class time. So I actually, I saw that nobody's picking up the dolly track, and I'm like, well, it's my time to shine. So I picked one up, and it's actually pretty heavy. And the girl beside me was like, I think it was Zena. She was like, "Oh, do you need help?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm good, I'm good." And then I picked it up and put it on the ground. And for an awkward split second, people are like, "Why did you put it on the ground? Extend it." And I'm like, "Okay, yes." So I extended it, and like Leslie helped me. Leslie on the opposite side of me, and then Ken to my right, and another person just pulling the track apart and locking it. And even though I've never worked with a track before, it's pretty much like every other film equipment. Like you pull it apart, it extends, and there's a little lock, and righty tighty, lefty loosey. So I turn the knob to the right side, I lock it up. It actually fucking worked. So I'm proud of myself. Also at some point Leslie was like, "Clear the cables," so I helped clear the cables. You know, being fast and responsive, you know, being on set, the film life, let's go. So there's that. So Kuchio walked up to me and asked me about the PAs, if Ariel was giving me the list, and I'm like, yeah. And then Kuchio continued talking to me, and he basically started complaining about Theo to me. He didn't name Theo by name. Well, actually he did, but he was like, "It's weird, like 20 years of teaching, I've never ran into a situation like this where someone is complaining that we have a night shoot. That's so weird. That's so strange. Well, if he doesn't want to be on set, well, he doesn't have to. He's gonna get an A, and I would say I'm pretty generous. And we will replace him with someone who actually wants to learn and wants to be on set and has the right attitude." And I'm just like nodding, and I'm like, yeah. So there's that. Yeah, so there's that. At some point around 6 p.m., Zach showed up. I was also at the same time texting Zach and texting multiple people. So Thomas really wants me to go to his apartment, but I never did. Miles went there. Well, you two don't have to worry about anything. I got Film 33 shit. Thomas got Film 33 shit, but Thomas is doing jack shit. Um, so there's that. Um, so Zach came by and Zach saw Leslie and Leslie's like, ha ha ha, and Zach's like, how are you? And Leslie's like, alive? And Zach's like, that's good. So Leslie is also very like expressive in front of others, but I hope she is more towards me. Please. Please make me special. Please. For the love of Christ. And then at some point, the Indian professor and Cliff showed up out of nowhere. Cliff in a red t-shirt showed up out of nowhere from an elevator. And I got excited because I haven't seen the Indian professor in so long. And I was jumping up and down. I actually got really excited. As I walked towards him and I said, hi. And it's funny because I think it was this morning when I checked the Google Forms, I saw that the Indian professor did the Google form. Who the hell sent the Google form to him? How did he find out about this? But anyways, I walked up to the Indian professor and I was like, hi, I saw that. And before I could finish the sentence, the Indian professor was like, and just walked away. He stole a stinger and then just walked back to the elevator. But yeah, it's really funny. So there's that. And then the shoot wrapped. Sidlali also showed up, and Sidlali had to ask me some questions about fire and the uses of guns, the marshlands. But he asked Kuchio, and Kuchio answered them for me, so she doesn't have any questions for me anymore. Fast forward. It wrapped, and then Kuchio once again talked to me a long ass speech about, people on set need to have the right attitude, throwing shade at Theo essentially. He also he asked me, so who are the other people on the group chat who are complaining? Like Kuchio asked me to rat for him, and now I try my best not to rat against people, but at that moment with Kuchio being someone this powerful standing in front of me, I just couldn't hold back. So I said, oh, it's Liam and Ava. And he's like, oh, okay. And then I felt bad for ratting them out. So I told, and to be fair, he already hates Liam and Ava to begin with. So at the very end, I told Kuchio, okay, I'll try to reason with them. And then Kuchio's like, there's no point in reasoning with them. If they want to leave, they can just leave. I don't care. So there's that. But at some point, Leslie just left. And she said she has a shoot to go, another shoot. And then Cliff also has another shoot. And apparently it's with the Indian professor. I don't know if Cliff and Leslie are in the same shoot, but they're going to shoots. So I and Ken ended up hanging out and talking a little bit. Especially getting all geeked up and excited about the Death Grips concert this Sunday. I went downstairs and I helped them move some stuff, move some chairs and some lights and whatever. And then I went down and to the CMD building, and I saw Zach and Sidlali, and Carly showed up at some point. Red was there in Drew's storage room. The gang. At some point, I don't know, Sidlali and Zach are just Sidlali was sitting on top of Zach or something. Her legs are on Zach's lap, and they were just honeymooning in front of me, which is kind of lame, but okay. And Sidlali was like, fuck you, you're white. You two are white. And Zach's like, no, Enoch's Asian. And Sidlali's like, fuck you two. And I'm like, whoa. And on an Asian American Pacific Islander month. Oh, and Zach started laughing, Sidlali started laughing. It was good fun. But yeah, essentially there's that. I and Ken is essentially talking. I half jokingly told Ken hey, do you want to have a production meeting about planning to go to the Death Grips concert, just to plan it out? And he's like, sure. and he took it seriously, and he's like, you know what, come by my place and hang out. So I'm like, okay. So that's what we did. At around 6 something p.m., maybe nearly 7, Ken called a lift. Okay, before that though, Carly showed up, and Carly talked about how last Sunday, when she, Cuccio, Birkin, and Liana went to the big Encino house, the small dog, his eyeballs popped out. And he lost the eyeball. His left eyeball popped out, or his left eyeball popped out, and he lost an eye. And that really hurt Carly's mom's friend's heart, because that house and that dog belonged to Carly's mom's friend. It's been kind of difficult for Carly to ask questions about the house, because she would think it's insensitive, which is really fucking crazy. And then Birkin and Liana took the dog to the vet. But maybe it's because, so Carly's theory is that Carly's nephews, or more like Carly's mom's friend's nephews, went to that house to take care of the dogs. They forgot to remove the dog food bowl, and the 2 dogs fight. And one of the dogs maybe took a bite or like scratched the other dog's neck, and somehow that caused the dog's eyeball to pop out, and that's wild. So there's that. Anyways, I and Ken called a lift for free, and I'm like, why is it free? Turns out it's to the main campus. So between CMD and main campus, you can actually call lifts for free, which makes everything easier. I should have done that like so many times. But yeah, we apparently he lives near the main campus, so I followed him. We went to the car together, we went to the main campus, and we went to the photo building, and I met Ken's photo 2 professor, who is a very old white guy, but he's so much more chilled, and he's like a master of printing. And people would just walk up to him. He's just sitting down, like a wise old man, and people would just walk up to him with trays with photographs on it, and he's like, burn this, dodge that, use f5.6, don't use f4, expose more. And it's just crazy. And his focus is printing, and which is really, really cool. So there's that. And then we walked, and I said, oh yeah, well right now we're in the main campus. Now I'm super far away from my home. And Ken's like, you know what? I can call a lift for you for free to get you back to CMD. And I'm like, sure. So we talked a little bit about Death Grips concert and like the logistics of it. And all that is done with mind that Leslie told me that Ken is crazy and has bipolar disorder. But you know, I'm so used to speaking to crazy people that I really don't care anymore. But anyways, you know, I got back to CMD, you know, I and Ken said goodbye and whatever. I also told Ken that I took Film 33 to feel something. And Ken is debating whether he should take Film 33 next semester or not, even though he's enrolled in it. Yeah, essentially there's that. So he called a lift for free for me to get back to CMD, and then I just walked to the bus stop, went back home, that's it. Now, during dinner, Zach called me twice, asking me about the permits, and I'm like, sure. You know, I talked about the permits. I requested all the permits, I sent them a student letter. Film LA hasn't given me a coordinator yet. And without the coordinator, we cannot do surveys. Without surveys, we don't know if we can shoot at night for sure. And so apparently Professor Antonio is on the other side of the line, freaking out, panicking. And so Zach, in the second call, Zach connected me with Professor Antonio. And while I don't think Antonio's mad at me, or at least that mad at me, it felt bad. Like, essentially Antonio's tone suggests that we're screwed. We're screwed. So tomorrow's Film 33 class is supposed to be one big production meeting where we talk about the schedule. We don't know the schedule yet because we don't know if we can shoot past 10 p.m., the standard hours. And we don't know that because we haven't done the community survey. We haven't done the community survey because we haven't had a coordinator yet. We haven't had a coordinator yet for Film LA, which is really weird. And Professor Antonio was like, in the past years, in the past semesters, Film LA would assign a coordinator way earlier. Why haven't they done that? And then, I did my best, but apparently not good enough because the permit requests, the specific details of the permit requests, there are still some errors that are not changed yet. I could have changed them. And Antonio was like, you or Benny or Birkin or Zach are supposed to change and not wait till this late, literally 1 week before the shoot, before you change it. So this is really bad. We're screwed. I'm going to have to tell Crucio about this immediately. And I don't know what we're going to do tomorrow because we have nothing to give because the schedule is still unset. So that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to go to Film LA. I'm going to make sure all the permit requests are right. I'm going to send a PDF to Antonio, and then I'm going to write another email to Crucio about the list of PAs. So there's that. Whew. So that's pretty much it for today. I'll also unbox my Sigma lens. I will finalize my Love and Death, which is so close to being finished. And I think that's already too much for one night. Forgot to mention that there's another moment where I walked up to Leslie and she basically says that thing again. Oh, I want to kill myself. I don't know what to do with my life. And I don't know. I said something. I was gonna say something silly like, oh, I'm wearing a beanie now. I look different. And then she immediately looks at me and asks me, so who is your crush? And I'm like, and I just walked away. So yeah. Oh my god. Okay, time now is 8:13 a.m. on May 18th. I slept from 3:45, or I think 3:50 to 8 a.m. So about 4 hours and 15 minutes. Oh my god, okay. I don't know when's the next possible time I can wake up naturally, honestly. So, let's do a little recap of what happened last night. So, I unboxed my Sigma lens, and I was afraid that it's gonna suck. But luckily it did not. The lens functioned pretty well. The front of the lens is a little dusty, but I think I can fix that. I can clean that up a little bit. Overall, so far the lens seems fine. So there's that. That's really good news. Another thing is I immediately went through Film LA after the call with Professor Antonio, and I found out that if you right click on the permits, you will get a menu, and one of the options is you can see your Film LA coordinator. Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? Was it there the whole time? So they're giving us a coordinator. And I'm only finding out accidentally through this. So I told Zach, and then Zach told me that Benny spoke to him. What? So Benny spoke to him without telling me? So I immediately texted Benny. It was like 10 something p.m. I immediately texted Benny, saying, hey, Zach told me you speak to the coordinator. Can we call? So Benny called me, and I and Benny had a 10-minute phone call basically updating him on what the hell happened, because there's so much I need to catch up on, and then there's so much he needs to catch up on literally anything. The permits, the PAs, the transportation stuff. But essentially, he called Film LA yesterday morning or something like that, and Film LA told him, oh yeah, you guys have a permit, you guys have a coordinator already. And then he immediately contacted the coordinator, and the coordinator told him that we need to have the schedule locked down first before we do any surveys. So there's that. So that's crazy, and I feel like it's partially my fault because I submitted the student letter so late, which is bad. But Benny said there's no reason to panic. We still have a little time. It's tight, but it's still possible. Um, yeah. Okay, my stomach is not feeling so well right now. Holy crap. What I want to talk about is also my conversation with Leslie yesterday on WhatsApp. Really, really long conversation that reaches until 1 a.m. But I guess the gist is that, you know, we talked a little bit here and there. I told her about how crazy the situation is in my class right now and how Professor Antonio just called me, blah, blah, blah. And then I told him, okay, so earlier today as well, earlier yesterday, Zach told me that Birkin ran Theo's email through like an AI detector and found out that Theo's gigantic email is partially, if not the whole thing, was written by ChatGPT. I don't know how true is that, but that's ridiculous. I told Leslie that, and Leslie started laughing, and I've never seen her laugh this hard in text. Like she laughed in Chinese. She laughed so hard she started laughing in Chinese, um, in multiple texts, which is insane. But after that, I told her hints about who my crush is, because I asked her, so where did you go shoot yesterday? And I didn't expect her to tell me, and she never told me. And she said, "Oh, how about this? You tell me who your crush is, and I'll tell you where did I go for the shoot at night." Um, and I said, "I can't tell you that." Um, so she never told me where did she go for the shoot last night with the Indian professor. But I told her, "Oh, I can give you hints." So the first hint I gave her was, she's not a Hong Konger. Um, and then she's like, "Okay, that's literally like that means nothing." And then I said, my other hint would be, um, I straight up just said this. I said I'm not a very feminine person. No, um, I, she is not a very feminine person. And I said I don't like relationships where I have to be dominant, where the guy has to be dominant. And then Leslie immediately joked, saying, "Oh, so you want to change your gender?" Like Enoch, they, them, Enoch, she, her, and sort of a joke. But then I also tell her that, I mean, I'm still a guy and all, but I enjoy putting on lipsticks and eyeliner last year. And she liked it. She liked my comment. She liked my text. Um, but I told her that the girl I like is very aggressive, is a bit aggressive. And then Leslie immediately said, "How aggressive? Is she as aggressive as me? Because I think I'm the most aggressive in the world in CMD." I think she's onto something. Maybe the crush is her. Hmm. Um, and then she asked me, is she cute? And I'm like, or is she hot? And I don't know what to say because I wouldn't say Leslie's like the hottest girl ever, but I think she's pretty cute. Okay, let's be honest. If she isn't, why would I even like her? You know. So I told Leslie that she's pretty cute, and Leslie told me that my crush seems like someone that she would have a crush on as well. Cute and aggressive, and has a very interesting personality. My brother in Christ, it's you. It's you. I hope she figures out it's herself at some point. And then Leslie's also speaking to the girl that she has a crush on WeChat. And that girl that she has a crush on, the China girl, said, "Right now, why do I miss you so much?" in Chinese. Leslie sent me a screenshot of that and told me I want to fuck her so bad. Wow. I don't know how to feel. I guess I'm happy that this is one of the most intimate moments between me and a girl where or the first time a girl straight up tells me that she wants to fuck someone else. Like I've spoken with Natalie and Michelle a lot, and neither of them both of them have talked to me about sex, but neither of them has straight up told me that they would want to have sex with someone else this directly and straightforwardly. Yeah. Yeah, so this is new, but then also this sucks because like she's so madly infatuated with the other girl. But yeah, there are a couple more interesting moments. I asked her, what is the last spot you went to before you came to the US? Like in China. And I said I went to the seaside to watch the sunset. That was December 24th, 2021. And she said she went to a park near her place and just sat down without looking at her phone or listening to music or anything, and just sat on the bench for a whole afternoon. And just to watch the trees and the lake. Literally like me. And then she's like, fuck you. So, hey, we share the same mind. And I also told her that I want to write a poem for my crush. And she said she does that sort of stuff too. Like, damn, like I and Leslie, we can really vibe, do we? Too bad that Leslie is the girl I have a crush on. So yeah, there's that. Today's Film 33, Thursday. It's gonna be hellfire. It's gonna be chaotic. People will fight, people will die, and let's hope everyone survives. Oh, you fucking...
Wow, okay. I'm sorry.
So let's go to another one. Where is that?
Fuck this. Let's eat at Bank of California.
It's open. Oh, we're checking the menu. I was thinking, why aren't we? I like your phone. What kind of phone do you have?
Samsung Galaxy Note S20 5G. Slay.
Slay. Yeah.
That's a good. What? I didn't even see you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you get.
Oh, bruh, I thought you were playing. Alright, time now is 8:57 p.m. I literally just came back home like 3 minutes ago. I would like to just sit down and cook myself rice and dinner and just relax, but I cannot do that because I really need to get it all out there right now. Every insane shit happened today. Holy fucking shit today is literally the peak. Today is peak drama. Literally Game of Thrones. Literally Game of fucking Thrones. Holy shit. Holy shit. So there's just so much happening. So much left and right drama, conspiracy theories. Everything from me delivering the final killing blow to Simon, to Leslie telling me how horny she is, to frickin' the mole, the snitches, Kuchio being suspicious of people, Betsy turning against Kat. Today is basically a series of massacres and backstabs and sneaking around, and I am in the loop this time. Last time shit like this happened back in secondary school, I was out of the loop. But now I'm in it, in the thick of it, and I'm doing things about it. And now that is power, my friend. That is fucking power. Okay, enough with the intro. Now let's get into the meat of it. So I slept very little today, like 4 hours. I arrived pretty late actually, and I was scared because I was expecting this morning to be absolute hellfire, pure chaos, and I was sort of right. It did turn out to be pure chaos and hellfire, but not exactly in the way I thought it would be. But I wanted to go there early. I randomly got a stomachache right off the bat in the morning before I even had breakfast. So I went to the bathroom and I skipped breakfast. I was gonna have a cinnamon roll. Screw it. Instead, I brought myself a oat and honey granola bar and went out, and that's gonna be my breakfast. So that's that. I arrived a little late, like 9:08 a.m. Today we're supposed to arrive at 9. But I immediately texted Skylar saying I will arrive at 9:08, thinking that I'm gonna be scared because Professor Antonio seemed to be a bit mad at me last night because I didn't follow up with the permits hard enough, and if I show up late I would seem irresponsible. Turns out it's fine. I arrived, and that was exactly like the moment I arrived. I saw Ava in front of me. Ava said hi to Professor Antonio, who's right beside me. And I said, hi, Antonio. And then I spoke to him about the permits. And he's like, oh, so you have a coordinator now. And I told him that, oh, yeah, we have a coordinator now. And all we need is we need to lock the schedule, and then we'll do the survey. And he's like, well, but that doesn't make sense. Only after we survey, we can lock the schedule. And then I'm like, yeah. And then so, we went into class. Went into soundstage. Turns out Skylar's even later than me. Benny's even later than me. But the moment I walk into class, Simon shows up. So Simon, the weird, problematic, touchy PA, he's back. And this morning he actually texted me, telling me that he's going to be a little late. Sorry. And I told him today is going to be a one big production meeting. But we're going to do camera tests in the afternoon. And I told him we don't really need you, but you're still welcomed. But I was trying my best to sway him away. Okay. So there is that. Now, okay, so but the moment I walked into the soundstage, I saw Theo, I saw Simon, and then I saw a bunch of people, and I'm like, holy shit, this is the game, man. The game has begun. The game is going on. And I saw Tova, and a lot of people are probably oblivious how much insane tension there already is among this group of people, and I'm just like, holy shit, I just can't. So the plan for today is there's no drill, but the camera department people will set up camera and do a little camera test, just a tiny bit, with one of the actors, Frank's actor. The art department, the entire art department. Okay, so Red, Sidlali, the Trinity gang, all 4. I think Eric was up there, all upstairs at the conference room, the script reading room. And then the producing team, me, Thomas, Benny, Birkin, Zach for a little while, and Tova and Liam for a tiny bit, went to another room, a new room that I've never been to, a side room, the one that's beside the audition room. And at some point, Antonio and Cuccio joined us so that we would talk about the permits. That's the first thing we did. We fixed the schedule. We really, really locked down the schedule, and we made some changes. First of all, out of the 5 Encino days, which is going to be next Thursday to next Monday, May 25th, all the way to 29th. Among these 5 days, day 4 and 5 will be completely overnight, 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., which is extremely challenging. But I think the shocker of the meeting is that the Theo versus Cuccio war did not end there. Somebody sent Dr. Grass an email complaining about the night shoots. Now, I'm not 100% sure it's Dr. Grass. We're just sure that it's a higher up. But there literally is nobody higher than Cuccio than Dr. Grass. If Cuccio has one enemy in this world, it's Dr. Grass. Second of all, we're not sure it's Theo, but it very likely is Theo. If Theo has the audacity to write an email to the whole class again and again, pretending to be the boss, he would do something like this. And then, at that point, we all thought, okay, it's only a couple people and Theo who are not happy with the night shoots. And that includes Liam, maybe Ava, and Theo. According to Birkin and Thomas, there are 5 to 6 people who don't want night shoots, which is really weird, or don't want overnight shoots. And so I'm really curious who are the six. And I slowly learned that it's roughly, probably, Theo, Ava, Liam, Jaden, Jared, and Shane. But Shane expressed his disinterest in overnight shoots very politely, saying that he's just not comfortable with it and he's ready to move on. And everyone agrees on the fact that he's really nice about it. But there's that. At some point, Leslie texted me at around 10:15 saying that Jonathan and Theo are arguing. And when I saw the text, it was already 11:12 a.m. And I saw it, and at that point, Professor Antonio and Cuccio had to leave the producing team meeting for a racial justice conference or some bullshit like that. So at that point, we basically have nothing to do. I did some more permit stuff. I communicated with the Torrance people a little bit. And because Benny is connected with the Film LA coordinator, so now he's technically more of a location manager than I am, which sucks, but honestly, great. Just take the load off me, do my job. I don't care anymore. Oh, that's Leslie. Cliff, Leslie, and Michelle has DM'd me in the last 8 minutes of me talking. Holy crap. So I and Benny immediately rushed back down to the soundstage to just check out what's going on. The fire's gone already. Leslie's outside hanging out with Tyler. So again, it's just like, fuck, my crush and Michelle's half crush, I guess, hanging out together. It's just like, I could totally see why Leslie would like someone like Tyler. First of all, Tyler's a handsome boy. He's got really nice hair. And he's got an eccentric personality and a rocking aesthetic style. Very punk, anarchist style. He's a heavy smoker, heavy drinker, a little psychotic. If Tyler's a woman, I would probably have a crush on him too. And the moment I walked up to Tyler and Tyler's like, why aren't you gay? And I wasn't that put off by that question because last night, literally, I told Leslie that I like being feminine. B, I like asking people random questions too. And I'm just like, and Leslie's like, yeah, he's homophobic. Anyways, I walked in the soundstage and the fire's over. Theo's at the side somewhere. Apparently, so I saw Jonathan. So me, Leslie, and Jonathan, three of us. A little sometime later, and then Tyler joined as well. Four of us. We went to the entryway of CMD, and Tyler had a cigarette smoke. Leslie wants to smoke, but she can't because people would notice it. People would smell her. So she vaped. And Jonathan apparently also smokes, but Jonathan didn't smoke at that point. But Jonathan told me what's going on with Theo. They argued. Jonathan said, okay, here. If any one of us is not interested in night shoots, just be upfront and tell me now. You don't have to do it. We expect night shoots. The script, literally 70% of the script takes place at night. If you have a problem with it, then, you don't have to do it. Then just get off the team. Theo had a problem with it. They argued. Tyler and Theo argued, and Tyler and Theo almost threw hands. Holy shit, I wish I was there to see it. Essentially, Jonathan fired Theo from being Cam Op A, and now Cam Op A is vacant. Now, Jonathan's plan is to promote Tyler from First AC to Cam Op A, and then Leslie to be First AC. But Cuccio disagrees. Cuccio wants Nadim from his Wednesday Film 32 class to be Cam Op A, and Jonathan disagrees. There's a little friction there, but at the end, Cuccio says Cuccio say. He gets the final word. So that's that. Okay, now that's one part of the issue. The next part is for the next hour or so, I would be hanging out in the main area with Tova. Bree didn't show up today, but with Tova, with NJ, with Tyler a little bit, just chatting, relaxing. And it's weird because When I'm working on Film 33 alone on a laptop, I work really fucking hard. I do tons of like tables, I make phone calls, write emails, I do a lot of film permit shit, whatever. But with in front of people, I just want to chat with them and relax and have a good time. So that's what I did. And it turns out everyone's having lunch. And every department is having lunch at different times now. Like the art department has their own lunchtime, and then camera department has their own lunch. Producing team, I don't know where did they go. They're all gone somehow. Yeah, we all had our lunches. So I wanted to have lunch with Leslie because it's like the last lunch I will have with her in my life, basically. Yeah, it's basically gonna be the last lunch I will ever have with her in my life, theoretically. Because on the shooting days, sure, we're all having lunch, but by then I will have confessed to her and we won't be looking at each other. Yeah, so I really, and also I wanted to eat good food, and good food always comes with Jonathan and Tyler. So follow Jonathan and Tyler. And they wanted to go to a Thai place. And so I also pulled Leslie away a little bit and said, I'm sorry, I let Simon here. And she's like, oh, it's okay. Just don't let him be in the camera team, which is impossible because Simon literally cannot work anywhere else. So that's another very touchy subject. But anyways, so there's a lunch break. So me, Leslie, Jonathan, Tyler, and then Tova are going to fit in Jonathan's car. Simon randomly shows up behind me and then started acting weird. He's taller than me, so he's looking at me like this. And then he tapped me on the shoulder, and then he tapped Tova on the shoulder and was like, can I follow you guys? And we're like, oh, we're 5 people. And we're also ignoring him a little bit because he's sus. And he's like, oh, how about this? You buy food for me. And Tova's like, oh yeah, sure. That's weird. Carly also wanted to join, so we also texted Carly the address of the restaurant. So we went to Wilshire Boulevard to a Thai restaurant. It's fucking closed. So so driver's seat, Jonathan. Shotgun, Tyler. And then it's Tova, Leslie, me. I thought I would be in the middle, but at the end I'm at the very side, and like Leslie's like literally sticking right beside me. And Leslie's doing like her hairstyle is like once again this Julianne Moore thing, which I don't really like, but she okay. But I was like crushed by Leslie at so many points. Like sometimes this car drifts and like I'm just crushed by her. And she also like untied Tova's shoelace at some point, and she like patted me on the head at some point. I got head patted by my crush. Fuck yeah! Like even though she's gonna reject me and she'll never like do anything to me physically anymore, but she head patted me. That's something. That's fucking something. Huge W for me right now. Huge W. Huge fucking W. That is undeniable. That is absolutely undeniable. So, the detective bows. Okay, anyways, I digress. We arrived at the Thai restaurant. It's closed, and we're gonna leave. We changed our minds, and we're gonna go to another restaurant. Carly shows up out of nowhere because, we gave her the address, so it makes sense that she's also in a car, and she just parked and she just showed up. Simon popped up out of nowhere. Fuck, he's here. And Leslie immediately turned around and he's like, oh, fuck, And I saw Simon and I acted all nice and stuff, and I'm really good at that. I'm so fucking good at acting nice in front of people. Leslie told me, before Simon showed up, Leslie told me that Simon may have an Asian fetish. Because again, Simon has a crush on Leslie at some point. Apparently Jade, the French girl that I met the other day, this Monday, and from Friday 32, Jade's friend, who is Asian, Simon had a crush on that Asian friend as well. And then now Simon is with Carly. And at that point, we all thought, okay, a little sus. But a little bit later, I think Jonathan told me that in the car with Carly and Simon, something weird happened. Apparently, Carly asked Simon to help her open some stuff with a pocket knife. and or like this knife, the Swiss knife thing. Simon held this knife and said, "Ooh, you know what? I should start carrying knives around to get girls," which is really weird. And a little bit later, Simon was in our car on the way to the second place, a different Thai spot. Simon put his arm, or actually, on the way back to CMD, Simon put his arm on Tova's shoulder, who was sitting at shotgun. And Tyler, sitting to my left, lift Simon's arm, knowing that it's weird, and try to distract him. He's like the fucking Rob CD, the angel of Shibuya, who's trying to like get perverts away from innocent girls in the nicest, most distracting way possible. It's sort of like that. So goddamn, if Tyler's a woman, I would have so much of a crush on him. Jesus. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm straight. It turns out everyone's fucking bisexual. Like, Ariel's bisexual, and Leslie just started randomly asking people, like, is anyone straight here? So she saw Anna and went up to Anna and was like, oh no, Anna came to Leslie, and Leslie was like, are you straight? And Anna's like, no, I'm bi. And I was like, see, no one's straight here. Tova's the only straight girl here. I'm straight too, but I'm not the straightest man ever. Anyways, I digress. Back to CMD, we had like 5 minutes to finish the lunch. So at the entryway tables, circular tables, me, Leslie, Simon unfortunately joined, Jonathan, and Tova sat down and ate. Jonathan didn't order anything, I think. No, I think he did, I forgot. I ordered pork fried rice, and it fucking sucks. It's the worst fried rice I've ever had. It's so mid. They have put so much rice. It's spicy, not in a good way. The vegetables suck, and it's so much. I should have gotten like pad thai or something. Yeah, it really sucked. And I also tried Jonathan's Thai tea that he bought, and Leslie got 2 straws for me and for Carly so that we could like try the tea a little bit. No, for me and Tova. And then after that, Leslie also wants to try, but she saw that both Tova and I have already licked our like straws. Like, she's like, fine, I won't try it. I could have been weird and I was like, oh, you can try my straw, but like, I keep my distance, unlike Simon. Anyways, the chaos resumes with the gigantic production meeting. So I was eating it, and I was the latest one to finish. In fact, I didn't finish fried rice. I finished maybe 1/3 of it, and it hits 2 p.m. and everyone's in the soundstage for one gigantic production meeting that's going to last until 4:30. And oh my god, now this is where the drama begins, or this is when the drama really peaks. So we went through the meeting. Zach got my backpack and my laptop from the room upstairs and brought them down there, thank god. And there's a bunch of like tiny annoying issues. First of all, Angel, who is I shouldn't name. Okay, my phone just crashed. So I'm not going to disclose names, but the Film LA coordinator who is connected with Benny essentially told Benny that because we're filming in Encino for 5 days in a row, and Encino is a very sensitive filming zone, we need to pay $62 per hour, which is in total about $3,600 just on the budget, which is terrible news. Benny announced it to everyone, and it's basically like the apocalypse, and everyone's shocked. And Birkin told Benny, like, why did you announce it like that? And then another thing is, for some reason, for the Catholic Church in East LA, we can't film on the public property. We can't film on the sidewalk, even though I requested the permit for the church, and the street part is supposed to be part of it, but apparently not. So we have a crane shot, but now we can't really set up the crane on the sidewalk unless we do it on the staircase, which is basically fucking impossible. So there's that. Now, another huge, anyways, there are a bunch of issues. So we went over the days, like day by day, shot by shot, scene by scene. And then we eventually arrived at day 4 and 5. So out of the 5 days, right, May 25th 5th to 29th, which is Thursday to Monday, day 4 and 5, it's overnight. And Skylar spent about maybe 30 minutes talking about how, we have to do overnight shoots. I mean, everyone expected it. Again, if you're not comfortable, if it's because your body would feel weak and you feel drowsy and you're not comfortable driving home because of the night shoots, that's okay. You don't have to come, blah, 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 blah. Now, she went on and talked about how, honestly, night shoots aren't that bad. We're going to be shooting at night in a big house. It's a nice, fancy house. And it's a safe place. I mean, you can even, stay overnight at the house if you want, maybe we could even do a pajama party. It's just a joke. 5 fucking minutes later. 5 minutes. Professor Antonio, because he broke his leg, he was on a scooter and he was looking at his phone and he was like, and then I saw it and I laughed a little bit. Andrew laughed a little bit and we saw each other laugh. And then Antonio stood up and walked to Cuchillo, whispered something to his ear, and then he looked at the whole class and said, "Guys, what is this? It was just a joke, but this is taking it too seriously." And something along the lines of that. I am very disappointed. This is crossing the boundaries. This is just too much. Turns out, Professor Antonio just received a complaint from the higher-ups that we're throwing a pajama party. 5 fucking minutes! Throughout the whole 5 minutes, nobody left the room. Nobody left the room. There is a fucking mole, a rat, a snitch among us, actively trying to sabotage our shoot. And so I was shocked. I saw Thomas, he was shocked. And immediately in my mind and in everyone's minds, we have a few names popped up. It could be Theo, it could be Liam and Jaden, it could be Leia. It could even be Simon the PA. Yeah, it's very fucking insane. I laughed. I was like, wow, that was wild. And I audibly laughed. I was like, oh, what? And Leslie was sitting behind me a little bit. She even offered me a seat beside her, like an apple box. But I didn't sit beside her because I wanted to stand in the beginning. I don't know why, but okay, I'll talk about that later, about Leslie. But that's an absolutely insane moment. So the production meeting went on and on and on. We went through the whole thing, and then that's pretty much it. I left the soundstage with Benny and Birkin a couple times just to hammer out stuff. And then at the very end, we need to clear the room for Film 31. And there was a Keslo situation because I really, 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 really want to go to Keslo. I told Jonathan I want to go. And Jonathan's like, yeah, you're not in the camera team, so you really don't have to come. I spoke with Drew about it. And Drew's like, no. It's for the camera team only. And that makes sense, but literally last semester, they had producers following the camera team to Keslo cameras. I really want to go. I was outside of soundstage for a couple moments, and I saw Cliff, as well as speak of the person, Jade. I think it was her. I forgot. And another guy. Ethan, I think is his name. And I was like, I gotta convince Drew to let me go to Keslo. Well, that's weird. So I spoke with Birkin about it. And Birkin's really easy to convince because I know him way more now. And he's like, oh yeah, sure, you should go to Keslo. It's a good learning experience. And I spoke with Benny about it. And Benny's like, oh yeah, I want to go too. And I told Benny. And Drew said we should be busy. The producer should be busy doing something else. And Benny's like, yeah, busy being in Keslo. So, I don't know. But I haven't sorted this out yet. Leslie's going. Lucky her. What the fuck? So I have 6 days to figure this out. If I can go to Keslo. But then again, if I confess to Leslie on Monday, and that completely ruins everything, then there's no point in going to Keslo anyways. There's literally no fucking point. because it's just gonna be absolute suffering seeing Leslie and stuff like that. It's okay. It's just a rental house. I'll see another rental house in the future when I become a successful filmmaker, hopefully. But that's that. Anyways, I digress. Now, okay, so the class ends, we all leave the soundstage. And I really want to know who the mole is. I spoke with Benny, and Benny's like, you know what, it's best to put this thing behind. Let's just pretend that that didn't happen and just move on. So I really need to speak with drama people who are really interested in dramas, because I really need to dig out who the mole is, because I want to know for my own pleasure, because I'm the detective. But it's cool people mentioning my names. Like when NJ spoke with Kuchio, like NJ just said my name because I made the Google Forms. So like, damn, I'm important now. Also on Instagram, I'm always a little jealous of Leslie, who's always on every single Instagram post ever, because she's basically famous now. I want to be an Instagram post too. And so, because yesterday on Wednesday Film 32, I visited Wednesday Film 32. It's not even my class. And I spoke with Kuchio. When I spoke with Kuchio, and Kuchio was talking shit about Theo to me, somebody snapped a pic of us. And it's not a pic of like a lot of people, but us included. And I'm in it for the first fucking time. Holy shit. And I look terrible, but at least I existed, you know. So that's amazing. But anyways, afterwards, I spent about an hour talking in the quad, and I immediately asked Tova, I need someone to help me. I need someone to be my Watson to dig out the mole. And I immediately talked to Tova about this. But before that, because people are near and I don't want other people to know, I talked about Simon. And yeah, more complaints about Simon being weird, Simon being touchy. Originally, I want to just be very subtle with it and be like, okay, just sneakily not invite Simon. But because there's so many people saying that Simon's like weird, and Birkin's there, and Birkin heard it all. And if Birkin heard it, and Birkin's sure about it, I can't be subtle with it anymore. Birkin said, you know, let's just tell the professors right now. And I'm like, I don't want to make enemies. But Birkin's like, we don't care. We're 1 week away from the shoot. Just do it. Just tell the professors. Simple as that. Which is the right thing to do, but I'm a sneaky guy. I'm a stealthy guy. I don't want to make enemies. But I guess that's that. So I saw Professor Antonio zooming beside me on a scooter. I ran up to him and told him the deed. So that's what I did. I walked up to Antonio and I was like, can I have a moment? And he's like, sure. And I said, so I've received a couple of complaints about one of the PAs from your Film 32 class. And he's like, who? Obviously it's Simon. And he said, what kind of complaints? What did he do? And I said, oh, he's just being touchy and weird. And I tried to be as nice as possible. I said, oh, I don't want this to be a huge deal. And also, like, I wasn't there when these things happened, so I don't know. I don't want to offend him or anything. And he's like, no, thank you for telling me. I need to know this. And he said, I wish those accusers would speak to me directly, but thank you for doing this. And he wrote it on his notebook. Simon, Arrow, something. Holy shit, I just delivered the killing blow. Also, before leaving, I was going to walk up to Leslie and say, sorry, I'm not telling you today. As in, I'm not telling you who my crush is. And Leslie started to act really aggressive with me. He grabbed me by this side of the jacket. He pulled me close to her with a very strong force, and he said, and Leslie went up close to me and said, like, fire Simon. Fire Simon. And if my crush, if the girl I love uses her full strength to pull me to her side and tell me that, I have to fucking do it now. Fuck. Oh my god. The level of drama. The level of insane drama. I also forgot to mention that during the lunch of the shitty fried rice, Leslie got herself a chicken pad thai or something, and I got to try scoop. A lot of people got to try scoop. Crystal shows up out of nowhere, and they started speaking Mandarin. Jokes on them. I understand them, for the most part. Crystal talked about how he and his husband or partner or whatever is going to Topanga for a vacation for a little bit. But at some point, Leslie tried to like untie everyone's like ribbon. So she tried to untie Eric's shoes. I also did that, and it's too tight. But at some point, Crystal showed up, and Leslie tried to untie Crystal's pants, which is crazy. And everyone's like, "Whoa, what's going on?" And then Crystal's vaping, and Leslie tried to vape and didn't like it. And then Crystal gave the vape to me and said that it's Hong Kong milk tea flavored. And Leslie's like, "Oh, Enoch doesn't vape." Yes, but let me slowly kill myself, please. So I'm like, no, it's fine. I vaped twice. This is my third time. Sure, go ahead. And I vaped as if like I do that regularly. Like I didn't choke or anything. And it does taste like Hong Kong style milk tea. I was like genuinely impressed. And Crystal's like, hey, Enoch likes it. So there's that. So that's a cool little moment. But anyways, fast forward. I and Tova had a little small talk. And she seems genuinely interested in finding out who the mole is. And then at the end, I also told Jonathan. Because I also really trust him, and he's also not the kind of guy who would withhold information from me. So yeah, and Jonathan said, so Tova's like, it could be Theo, it could be Liam, could be Jaden, it could be Leia. And Jonathan said it's not Theo. Because Theo was really seriously said it's not him. Or I think, no, Jonathan thinks it's Theo, but Tova doesn't think it's Theo, because Theo told Tova that it's definitely not him. And he has such a sure, certain face. But Jonathan said it could be Alex, which is a really interesting thing. It could be Alex and it could be Simon the PA. But it could be Alex because Alex is suspiciously obedient. On the Signal group chat, every time people start complaining, Alex said, well, we'll just listen to what the director says. We'll just listen to what Professor Cuchillo says. That's so obedient, it's suspicious. And also apparently Alex's adoptive father owns a radio company or something. And Alex lost his job as boom op, so Alex has nothing to do, he's a leftover. He must be to some degree a little mad. Very strange. So there's that. And I also plan to tell Betsy. So script writing club meeting happened. I'll talk more about that later once I have more storage space. But it's fucking crazy. The drama goes on. Alright, time now is 12:55. Yeah, I guess holy crap. Okay, so I just had dinner and everything, called Michelle, and spent a good amount of time just sitting down, listening to music, and trying to absorb just everything that had happened today. There are a couple of things that I sort of forgot to mention before I reach the final leg of today. But I think I mentioned that Amy is sad. Amy, the Indonesian girl, is really sad and is planning to ditch Film 33 and return to Indonesia and leave America because she thinks America sucks. I know she's like really quiet, but I wish like I could like speak to her more because I feel like she's a person who thinks. Gustavo, the Brazilian guy, asked me if I'm okay because I post too much emotional shit on Instagram sometimes. I ran into Betsy, I think before lunch break or during lunch break, but essentially Betsy told me that she's mad at Kat in a good, friendly way because Kat wanted to include Gary's weird, creepy, predatory video. That I think I already mentioned. Let's see. Yeah, there's so many other small instances and moments that I probably forgot to mention because so much happened today. It's absolutely insane. There's a lot of moments when Zach, Jonathan, and Tyler would be singing Blink-182 and I wouldn't know the song, and Leslie would be confused too, so it's just me and Leslie being confused. That was really nice. And oh yeah, Tyler got a girlfriend at 4 a.m. last night, more like yesterday morning, but apparently Tyler and another girl became officially a thing. I don't know if he was joking or not, but he seemed serious about it. I don't know, but yeah, Tyler and this other girl became a thing, and they cooked banh mi together, and they used French baguette. Um, so that's a thing to be said. And again, like just going back to how Leslie said, even though she really wants to date a Chinese girl, um, she wants to date someone here in America as well. And immediately after that, or I think slightly before that, after Tyler asked me if I'm gay, Leslie said I have a crush to him. What the fuck? Why is she selling me out? Okay, thank God it's Tyler, but like, don't fucking sell me out. Holy shit. And she still doesn't know that the crush is her, but then she literally figured out the day that I told her, but then she stopped figuring it out again. Okay, but anyways, we enter the final leg of the day with script writing club meeting. And it's the final script writing club meeting of my life, essentially. I will not do a club thing like this anymore. I'll probably join an HKOS thing if I ended up going to USC or UCLA, which will not happen. But anyways, script writing club meeting. Quite a few people showed up. Thomas was there, Kat was there, Betsy was there for the occasion. Yeah, Miles was there. Most people are back. Most. And we essentially read 3 scripts that are submitted to the film festival for some reason, that are in competition, and all 3 of them kind of suck ass. The first one is this artsy, very vague, abstract romance slash like murder thriller story that is really poorly formatted and boring. I appreciate how ambiguous and artsy it is, but everyone hates it. The second story is like a kid's animated story, and it's like a condensed Pixar movie, and it's about a bunch of rocks in space break apart, and it's like a child who runs away from the family and like runs into the sun, runs into a comet, an asteroid, blah 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 blah. The third one is a little bit better, but it's about a couple and a weird old guy playing games the whole day, and then the ending of the short film implied that they had a threesome. And all 3 of them kind of suck, honestly. And then at the very end, we talked a little bit about the Shane Black event, which is absolutely crazy. The fact that our guy Carmelo actually pulled it off. It's absolutely insane. And we talked about the elections for the new president, and then that's it. And then I spoke to the Japanese American guy at the end. Apparently he's first generation. I asked him for his Instagram, and he said he deleted it. So that's funny. But he's chill. And he also grows a little facial hair, and I'm like, I'm glad to see another Asian person growing facial hair. And he's like, oh yeah, I just forgot to shave. And so for the Shane Black event next Wednesday, I really wish I could go as well. Thomas, there's this thing where Miles and Duke, the British guy, are planning to film it because they both have cameras and tripods and lights and everything. But for some reason, Thomas's extremely strong fear of cameras sort of showed and said, and he was really serious about it. He said, we shouldn't film Shane Black. And he said that, and I'm like, why? And he said, well, I just think it's disrespectful. And I'm like, well, we're going to ask him if he wants to be filmed. And he's like, we shouldn't even ask because it's going to put Carmelo in an awkward position and it's disrespectful. I'm like, no. But he's so firm about it, and he looks really mad, which is so fucking stupid. No, we're filming it, okay? Leave me alone. Leave them alone. Leave Carmelo and Co alone. But yeah, there's that. Slightly before that, I spent quite some time talking to Betsy and told her about the mole situation, which is absolutely insane. And Betsy's like, well, thank you for telling me. And she'll keep an eye and keep an ear about this. So that's pretty much it for today. I wanted to tell Professor Antonio to not tell Simon about this until at the very end of next class, at the end of tomorrow, because if Simon tells, if Antonio tells Simon very early tomorrow, then I show up at their film 32, it's gonna be very intense. So that's really scary. So I really don't want that to happen. But if in the case that Simon already knows that I screwed him over, I have a way to sort of scapegoat and pretend to be innocent and say, oh, I just hear a bunch of complaints. I don't know what's going on. I and the producers are talking about this and we're trying to resolve this issue, but, I know it's weird and all, but, we're going to try to fix it. I'm the one who killed you, bitch. Yeah. Oh, I came back home, and talked, and my phone crashed twice. Made myself dinner. A gigantic cockroach appeared, even bigger than the one I battled, which happened over there. Even bigger than that. But I managed to scare it with the chair. And it's in the kitchen now, so at least it's far away from my room. I had a call with Michelle, and she said she's impressed that I actually had the guts in me to kill Simon. So that's pretty impressive. And also I told Michelle how I vaped, Crystal's vape, and she was like, ooh, what? Please don't get addicted. And I also said how I enjoyed, putting lipsticks and eyeliner on me when I tried that last December. And Michelle's like surprised. So Michelle asked me about sex stuff, and I was like, that's weird. And she would think that I squirm at the face of like the word sex, but then I also I would also like boldly tell others that I enjoyed putting lipsticks and eyeliner on, and she said I'm still surprising her. We've known each other for many months now, and I still managed to surprise her, so that's amazing. I tell Leslie the same shit. I put lipsticks and eyeliner, and I enjoyed it, blah blah. I also faked a woman's voice because I'm just tired. So at some point I saw Leslie and hi, can I sit beside you? And Leslie was just taken back. Whoa, you're a woman now. Okay. And yeah. But I don't know if Leslie's surprised by this or she just seems stone cold. You can never tell what's her genuine reaction. When I tell Michelle all this drama, Michelle's genuinely, excited about it. But Leslie's just I don't care. I texted Leslie about, my detective plan, and she's like, I don't care. So, there's that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for today. After Leslie today told me and a few others that she wants to find someone to date in America, I feel like my chance just went up a little bit, but I am still expecting a 99% chance of her saying no. And it's okay. I got her gaff tape down there. I will go through a grieving period and I will get over it. It's okay. It's fine. It hurts, but I'll have to live through it. It is what it is. But I truly, truly do love her very much. And hopefully I can give her more hints so that she would know a little earlier. She would slowly figure out that it's her. Yeah, also I feel like I'm interesting enough. I don't want to be such an ego booster. I don't want to sound cocky, but Leslie likes people who have depth and is very artsy. I feel like my artistic style stands, and I have depth. It's just that I'm ugly as fuck, and I may not be the coolest person. In fact, I'm the opposite. So I really like girls who are aggressive and has a dark side and is broken. And I am like a guy who is soft. I mean, broken, but in a lawful way, you know, in a lawful, tidy, calculated way. And I'm a thinker. And I don't touch people. Like, I'm kind of an introverted guy. And you know, I don't seem like a mystery because people when they see me at first, it's like, yeah, that guy's just a guy, you know. But like, there's so much more to me to dive deep on. Yeah. I also talked about music with Tova. Like, Tova showed me a post, like a meme about hyperpop, and it's just a bunch of albums that are not hyperpop, but a bunch of amazing albums. Like Slint, Spiderland, and OK Computer, and Daughters, You Won't Get What You Want, and Swan Soundtrack for the Blind, and Sweet Trip, and Car Seat Headrest, and King Giz, and whatever. And I'm like, oh yeah, I know those albums. So, I like that I keep surprising people. I keep on saying these quotes. I said like, oh, like Los Angeles is literally hell. And Tova's like, oh, that's a good quote. I need to write it down. And on her list of quotes, like 3 of them are like by me, which is like the most. So I'm like a quote generator. I'm very quotable. Yeah, let's hope I can get to Keslow. But then again, if I confess to Leslie on Monday or Tuesday, then what's the fucking point? Anyways, yeah, then what's the fucking point, you know? Just one thing. Yesterday I finished editing Love and Death. I finished editing the first version, and they actually played it in the auditorium. Like, Betsy played like the first minute or so in the auditorium with Thomas in it as well, to test out. But yeah, I finished it. All the subtitles, it sounds, it's fine. I uploaded onto YouTube and it got blocked. I'm like, what? That's weird, because last time I uploaded it, it didn't. It's like a gamble. So I uploaded again, it's blocked again. So I need to figure out a way to avoid the copyright claim. Also, Benny saw my YouTube channel, so I was not even in my main account. I was in my Enoch Lie account, I think, or I think some other Little Syndrome account, and it recommended me a video from Art House Detective. And Benny saw it, and Benny pointed at it, and I just whispered to him, like, just forget about it. Ignore it. You saw nothing. You saw nothing. And she tried to, like, touch my laptop to get me to scroll back up, and I said, you saw nothing. And then at some point, he probably actually forgot, so